We don't have an exact date yet, but it's going to happen very soon. Now, right now, if you were to fly out, you'd walk through those doors, you'd come over to ticketing, take care of your boarding pass if you need to, and also check in any bags, and then you would go to your respective concourse. That's either B, C, or D to check into security. Now, when you get to the terminal, you see a bunch of shops. Those shops are all going to move soon as part of this expansion plan to make way for one centralized check-in location. One of the big impacts we've seen so far is also this beach erosion. You can see that's a pretty big depth that comes up mid-calf on me, and that water is pushing in on us and taking that sand out. Traditionally, we call it the live drive, but today we're going to call it the dry live because I am happy to be staying dry. But let's get you a look at the roadways. You can see right here as I'm walking, the sidewalk abruptly ends, creating new attractions like the amphitheater that's included in designs here at Festival Park will help draw young families to the area. But what concerns some people is the price tag. The government is dropping thousands of new and rare coins this week into our circulation. Just take a look at this wall they've built in their own backyard. That's because the Imperial River runs right through this brush. Students got their hands dirty this morning to welcome Island Coast's newest academy, and we're going to get our hands dirty too, laying some concrete blocks. Now, these are like the blocks of foundation for Island Coast students. If we take Ray's 9-foot gator, which I drew out here for you, and we say it yields about 70 pounds of meat at about $12 a pound, he could have turned it in for about $840 just for the meat alone. As of 2:45, fire crews say they had this fire controlled, but as you can see behind me, a lot of charring on the vegetation that was here, and this could have been much worse is what officials are telling me. The fire actually hopped over several roads, and you can see it actually charred back in this area as well. Now, crews from Englewood, Sarasota, all came down to help. They had a helicopter out here dumping water on top of this fire, but they were able to get it under control quickly. Now they will be out here for the rest of the night, patrolling, looking for flare-ups and trying to put those out as quickly as possible. But we were able to speak with one neighbor who says she's just grateful for the quick work of these men that ended up saving her home.
They told me to evacuate, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere until my husband gets here and I get my family heirlooms, which is probably wrong, but we just moved here 8 months ago from Ohio, and it's all we had left. But they've done nothing but a great job, and I cannot thank them enough.
Now, luckily, her and her neighbors' homes were all safe from this fire, and the crews being able to put it out quickly. But as I said, officials said this could have been much worse, and that's why they're urging residents in this area to go ahead and take the necessary precautions to protect your home. That includes making sure your gutters are clean around your house, and if there's low-hanging branches near your roof, go ahead and trim them up. Live in Port Charlotte, Janae Muchmore, Wink News. Now, Justin, we just got that information within the last 15 minutes, and as I was reading the report, some of these details are crazy. We're now learning that the altercation that ended up right here on Southeast 47th Terrace, where we zoom in and you can see some tire marks on the road, actually began just around the corner at Rusty's Bar. Now, police say that man, Harry Lesniak Jr., had been acting strangely toward 3 women at Rusty's. And when the women left the bar, Lesniak followed, prompting the women to scream for help. That's when a man driving a white pickup truck told them to get inside. That driver and Good Samaritan showed Lesniak that he had a firearm and ordered him to back away. That's when police say Lesniak got into his own pickup truck. That's the red one you've been seeing in our video all morning. He sped around the white truck, passing it before repeatedly backing his truck up into them. He backed into them so many times that the vehicles actually got stuck together. So in self-defense, the driver of the white truck with all the women inside got out of the car and fired several rounds of shots into the back of Lesniak's pickup. He then held him at gunpoint until police were able to arrive on scene. Now, police did arrest him on scene and took Lesniak straight to the Lee County Jail, where he has been booked. Live in Cape Coral, Janae Muchmore, Wink News. Now, our cell phones are typically in our hands, and if they're not, they're within an arm's reach away. But this new texting and driving law demands that we change our habits every time you get behind the wheel. So, let's go for a drive. Right now, as long as you're not breaking any laws, police won't pull you over. When you grab your phone and send a quick text. So what are you allowed to do with your cell phone under this bill, and what aren't you? If you're not good with directions, Siri, take me to work.
Starting route to 2824.
Don't worry, it's okay to use your GPS while driving.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Palm Avenue.
Although it's recommended you put it on a mount. Once you're in motion, you'll want to stick to voice commands. Hey Siri, call mom, so you can keep both eyes on the road. Now that means you can still hold the phone up to your ear while you talk, but the second that you get inside a school zone, you must go hands-free. Now you might be wondering, is it okay to text when you're at a red light? And the answer is yes. As long as your car is stopped, you can't get ticketed. But once you start moving, you must stop texting. First offenses will land you a $30 fine, but when you add in the court fees, it drives your total price to over $100. Janae Muchmore, Wink News, now. Lacey Cool gets a lot of heads to turn at the racetrack, not because of her age, or even the fact that she's a girl racing among the boys. It's because her true drive lies not behind the wheel, but within her heart.
Started out racing after my little brother Rocco passed away from type 1 diabetes.
Her little brother Rocco was 1, and Lacey, though only 4 at the time, remembers several trips to the hospital.
We took him to the hospital, and then 3 hours later, they still said he had the flu to go home. He started breathing really funny, started wetting the bed even more, so we took him back to the hospital.
When Rocco passed away, it was a shock. It was something nobody would ever want to experience.
That pain and a newfound love for NASCAR.
We met a diabetic race car driver and everything, and my dad's like, well, why don't we try racing?
Gave their family the strength to start sharing their story.
My little brother recently passed away from DK.
Lacey's skills behind the wheel and her charity reached new heights this summer when she received an award with NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program, and she credits all her success to her little brother.
We have had some rough times with racing as well as a charity, but he's been telling us to move forward.
Full speed ahead. Janae Muchmore, Wink News, now.